The music amplifies the memories. The miners' strike of the 80s was defining for mining towns like Chesterfield. 4 decades on, many remember that pivotal period like it was yesterday.
The hardship, the threat of losing the house, the young men who had everything to lose because their jobs were their future. And after all we're trying to do was retain our jobs and our future and the future of the communities.
John Burroughs was one of thousands of miners who went on strike in March 1984.
They are now also saying to the lads, you can start to pay back the amounts of money that you owe when the dispute is over.
Few expected that dispute to be so long and so bitter. Miners opposed pit closures planned by Margaret Thatcher's government and dug in for nearly a year. When they eventually voted to return to work in March 1985, it marked the beginning of the end of centuries of coal mining in the UK.
We didn't win that battle, but we went back proud, and we went back with banners flying, and we went back with brass bands playing. There's a lot of culture. There was a lot of culture in the mining industry, and it's easily forgotten that miners were not just somebody with a pick and a shovel. They could use a pen and a paintbrush. They could pick up an instrument and they could play a guitar and they could sing.
We don't need their permission to have a point of view.
That culture is woven into this performance by a mixture of renowned musicians and a homegrown choir, carefully composed to capture the essence of the times.
Enough and wisdom of our own.
Exposing that period and celebrating it and saying, hey, this happened. This is something not to shy away from, something to be proud of, and something that should be remembered.
What's the tone supposed to be like of this music?
The idea of a requiem is to pray for the departed soul. So in a sense, it's about life after death. And that's what this piece is. So it is celebratory. It has its darker moments, but it is celebratory and looks to the future.
And it highlights in particular the vital role of women during the strike. Some even joined the men on picket lines, like Betty Cook, who remembers the creative excuses she gave to the police.
We were strippers, we'd got an engagement in London, or we were actresses and we were going down London to do some filming or something. And they always sat me in the back, and if things got really hot, they used to say to me, "Cookie, start and cry."
Did you think about the risks you were maybe taking and
no,
any fear among you all?
It was amazing. We were just so full of courage and defiance. One morning, yes, there was violence on the picket line, and that was me. And they got my son, my youngest one, and thought they're not having him, he's mine. So to reach the police, I had to go right back and run and jump. And so running, jumping, and I was just thumping him on the noses, let him go, he's mine, you're not having him. And eventually the boss man shouted, for goodness sake, let him bloody go. You know, so I got him back.
Betty helped start a movement empowering women to take part in strike action. From running soup kitchens to making speeches, it's left a lasting legacy.
If you look now at the number of women that are parliamentarians, they probably wouldn't have been in the same numbers today without the politicisation of the miners' wives, mums, sisters, daughters.
During the strike, a popular slogan emerged among miners: close a pit, kill a community. Yet 4 decades later, their pride and spirit lives on.